Voice from below.
The voice from below, sure. But in lieu of the agenda that we have in front of us, I thought that I would start the meeting, and then we could go from there. Does that sound good, or does the secretary want to run the meeting until we get to those sections of the action items? What would you like?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's fine, Tim.
Well, then I'll open the meeting and we'll start. We'll get down to where we do need a chair and vice chair, and we can then go from there. Does that sound good? Okay. So it is a call to order. So I've called the meeting to order, 6 o'clock. The first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd like to do that.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I will do the roll. Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
And we've got Trustee Walconis.
Here.
Trustee Hyder, he said he would be here. We'll give him hopefully he'll be tardy. Trustee Clark, he is not going to be present. Trustee Berry has asked to be excused. Trustee Baydoun.
Here.
Trustee Nazardine.
Here.
Trustee Taylor.
Here.
Right. We do have a quorum with 5 members present. Right. And the first item is the approval of the agenda. The agenda is before you.
I move to approve it.
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and supported. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
You want to do, anyone have a comment or, from the table, comments from the table?
Oh, you want me to, sorry.
Well, just in case.
Okay.
Might as well
Comments
do,
from the table regarding the agenda? No? Okay. All right. Thank you. No presentations, no community events. The first action item is the consent calendar. Item 7A, 1 through 3. What I did want to point out in the agenda packet, though, in 7A3, which is the finance report dated April 2025, so that if you go to A1 3, and it kind of has that financial report right here. And each month I do mention that to you, just a percentage of budget used is the important, kind of the important line that we look at. And of course, we've still got kind of 2 months to go here, a month and a half. And we always look at that percentage of budget used on the far right column of the first page. Is everyone there? Yes. Right there, right after 7A3. Okay. The next page, yep, there you go, Mr. Baydoun. And so we look at that to make sure, of course, we're not over budget. The only item really that we're over budget is in publicity and promotions, which we've had to do some costs there because of the chili cook-off for next year. So we are a little over. We will be seeking a budget amendment at some point from the council to bring us into compliance. But everything else is running pretty close to where we had budgeted. Some things are kind of woefully under. For example, contract professional, we're 19.42%. That's where the assistant director is paid from. And then also if we have any other professional fees that we're required to pay outside of legal services. So we will be having some contractual fees coming, right? Hi, Dr. Hyder. Right. Welcome.
good evening.
Right.
So,
So we are on the consent area in item
I don't know which one.
7A3.
Thank you.
And I'm just kind of talking about our budget and where we're at kind of for this year. And we're, for the most part, within budget. And I was explaining what we're over in budget in publicity and promotion. And then the contractual professional, which is midway down there, you see that we're kind of under budget. That's where, of course, we pay our assistant director, and then also for any consultants or something like that the DDA would want to hire. We are going to be looking at contractual professional services from Hennessy and Associates, who's the city's engineer, to look at some parking lot conditions, which we all know is a big issue. Also, part of that fee will go for the seal coat and stripe. You'll see is going to be mentioned later on the agenda for the northeast parking lot. But again, I think we're in good shape and we're not over in too much, just one item. And of course, we still, in our budgeted amount, still can cover that 6% that is over at this time. If you can recall, for next year, we did put a little more money in publicity and promotions because running the Lucky Squirrel and the Chili Cook-Off do take up, things are going up everywhere. And of course, costs for advertisements and those kinds of items come out of publicity and promotions, and we did budget a little more for that. So next year, hopefully, we won't go over budget. So that's the highlight of kind of that financial part. I didn't want you to, I wanted to say more about it than it's a consent agenda item, but I look at it and I know that you look at it, and just so that you see that I do monitor it and that funding is always tight, and I wanted to make sure that you know that we're within the budget that you had established last year.
Perfect.
So with that, though, I will entertain a motion.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right,
I support.
all right. Thank you. Right. And is there any discussion regarding the motion from the table?
What do we think, how much is our amendment going to be, or adjustment? We're at 2,500, give or take.
Sure.
Do we know,
We're at
do we have an idea
6%
what we're
over.
going to continue to spend on that? Or,
I don't project a lot, so maybe up to $5,000 or so. But we'll do the budget amendment mid-June, and that'll be before the council. I think June 23rd is what we're proposing. So we'll really only have 7 more days left of the fiscal year. So I don't think we'll do the Friday before the council meeting, or well, really Thursday before. We'll do kind of a snapshot to see if there's anything pending to see, so we don't ask for too much. So, okay.
thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, there was a motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. The next item are action items, and this is, with the resigning of Randy Walker, he was the chair. We don't have a vice chair that was in place. We do need to have a nomination of the election of a chair. If the board would like to have a vice chair, I put that on there so that we have that in case the chair is not present. But the first action item is the election of a chair. It would be a nomination and support, and then if there are no nominations, then we would have a vote and then move on to the next item. So at this time, I could accept a motion for a nomination.
I motion nominate Missy Taylor for chair.
I support that.
Right. Is there any discussion from the table? There's none? No. Okay. So trustee Baydoun made a motion. It was supported by trustee Nazardine for trustee Taylor to be the chair. All those in agreement signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Do we want to have the election of a vice chair? That was not elected at the beginning of the year. But again, we could have
What
that.
benefit could that give us?
Just in case somebody is not present, then they would run the meeting. If not, then the secretary, that's trustee Walconis, would run the meeting also. You know, it's just to cover us in case. I put it out there in case.
Oh, well, Alex, I nominate you.
Right? Okay.
Seconds?
Sure, if
Okay.
you want to do it.
Alex?
Not that easy, but, because I usually
Okay.
can't make it to every event,
Okay.
or every meeting, so I don't want to put that on everybody.
Sure. I will, of course, it's easy, of course, I will help you, so. So that was,
No, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Maybe next time.
so that was a motion by Walconis, and that was supported by Hyder,
Sure.
was it? All right?
Yeah.
Okay. For trustee Paydoun to be the vice president, or vice chair, sorry.
Vice President of the
I
United
know, I was
States.
going to say. Anyways, is there any other discussion from the table? No? All those in support of the motion signify by saying aye,
Aye.
and those opposed.
As long as you don't oppose. No.
So the motion does carry. Okay? All right. So now, the new chairperson, would you like to continue, or do you want me to
Sure.
finish, or what would you
You
like?
can
Okay,
help me limp along.
okay.
How about that? All right, so I guess the next item we have is the chili cook-off volunteers, and I believe, Mr. Miller, you'll talk about that anyway.
Yes, yes. So at the last meeting, you know that we talked about the chili cook-off and all of the items that we do purchase, but we are always in need of volunteers for that. If you can recall, last year we set a rate of pay for volunteers to volunteer for our organization, but they also are in turn volunteering for their own organization, a community-based organization that registers to, from these volunteers to actually, they would receive the donation for all of the hours worked. This is in compliance with the Michigan State Tax Code, where a volunteer is providing a service that the city could provide, but they are in turn doing that in return for the service hours that would go to a community-based organization. It worked out last year. We need more volunteers. I'm looking at all of you to give me volunteers, find volunteers for the organization for that day. But we set a rate of pay for that, and then when the community-based organizations apply, they know that if, say, they have 7 workers that work, maybe I'll do 5, it'll be easier. 5 hours, they all work 5 hours, they would get, $25 an hour, $125 each, so that'd be, $600, $625 that would be given to the organization. And that would be from the proceeds that we make from the event. But in turn, it helps us with getting volunteers because they're serving the community, but they also are helping their own organization, Kiwanis, Rotary, Library, there's a dog rescue, our home pantry also, the
Autos for Autism.
Autos for Autism, all of those organizations provide volunteers for the event. And I know, Ms. Wilcox, you were there. What group were you with? I forgot, it was Rotary or is No Child Without a Christmas? No Child Without a Christmas, right? And again, working hours, but in exchange for that, then we do that. So last year we did $25 an hour, and I would recommend that. If anybody else has any other ideas, you can obviously make a motion, but that's kind of what we did last year, and it worked out. 25 was easier math for me, I guess. I don't know. But we did track it. When the volunteers came, we had them check in again so that we weren't being, frivolous with the costs. And then at a council meeting a number of months later, we did do a presentation of the money to each of the organizations, which they use in turn in our community to make it a better place. So
Matt, what did we pay last year?
the amount.
Because I think the year before that it was $15, and then I think we raised it from 15.
Oh, last year we did 25, yes.
Good.
I just don't know the total. I thought you were asking the total that
No,
we
no,
were
no,
donating.
I remember it was
Okay.
15, and then I thought we had raised it to 20, but 25, I guess. That was a big jump, okay.
And how have you, I should say, in the past, reached out to, or let organizations know that this is available to them?
We meet with all the organizations and let them know.
And are there parameters? I'm just thinking like for our church. I don't know that we would have people who would come and volunteer, but are there any parameters as far as like, would the church qualify as an organization to be able to work towards this event?
I think they just need to be in a 501c3 and prove it,
501c3.
right?
Oh,
I think
correct,
we
that.
require paperwork for that, and
And
then,
then they have to have a community connection to Garden City.
Okay.
So like we did have a community-based organization that was based out of Inkster, but they ran the Hicks Elementary School, which is on the border, and actually some children from our organization go to Hicks, or from our city go to Hicks. So we did accept them as an organization. They run the, helping teachers with classroom products and things like that at Hicks Elementary. So, but they does have to have a connection to the community.
Okay. So we need a motion then to recommend that rate of pay is 25? Is that what we need to do? Okay.
I motion to go ahead and
I support.
raise it to $25.
Right.
So that was Dr. Hyder made the motion.
Nasruddin, support.
Dr. Nasserdine supports. All right. Any discussion from the table? All those in favor can acknowledge with aye.
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 Anyone opposed with a nay? Okay, looks like the motion carries. All right, the next item we have on the action item is the improvement contracts cancellation at the 6332 Middle Belt property.
Yes. Almost 4 years ago, the DDA entered into an agreement with the property owner at kind of 6332 Middle Belt, former Maplewood Lumber. And how the process was, of course, money was set aside, and then they had the right to draw down from that. They applied for a facade and parking lot loan from the city. During that time, though, they never made any request to draw down the money. And then at the end, of course, the project didn't go forward, but we still have a special assessment out there. And so kind of the way special assessments are is the special assessment agreement was in place. We have built in that there's a delay in the special assessment to get to start to collect the money. Well, if none of the money was drawn down, we still are requiring that you start to pay back even though you withdrew no money. So we need to actually cancel the contract so we can stop the special assessment, because if not, they're going to get a bill for money that they could go and get, but they're going to start to have to pay back money that they really have not really utilized. So I wanted to have your recommendation to go to the council, because the council also will have to cancel this agreement and the special assessment district at 6332. But there are two motions that we do need, because there were two agreements that the DDA entered into.
Are the owners not wanting it?
He's not moving forward with any, he's trying to market the property and sell instead of improving it. So, and that's at 6332 Middle Belt. So we have two recommendations on my request to you regarding the facade and parking.
Now, do we have to do two separate motions for that? Okay, so we're looking for the first motion for the facade improvement loan.
I'll motion
Support.
to cancel the facade.
All right.
Can I motion the other one too?
Sure.
Oh, we have to vote on the
Well, we'll
first
vote
one.
for the first one. and
So
then
we
we'll
have
do the
Dr. Hyder and we have Mayor Jacobs.
Which property is this, Matthew?
This is
Which
the
building?
Maplewood lumber across from Sports Venue.
Right at Maplewood and...
Maplewood.
and Middlebelt.
Middle.
On the side of this high school.
Yes.
Yeah, just north.
They were going to do
Or
some
south.
sort of a
Drone.
racing.
Drone and
Okay. That was a while ago.
RC racing.
Okay, any other comments from the table? Okay, we will signify all those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay? All right, that motion carries. And now Dr. Hyder has already motioned for the cancellation of the parking area.
I support that.
And Dr. Nazardine supports. Any further comments? All right, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries as well. Okay, then we move to other business. We have the first item in other business as the Orange Jeweler Fokker Building. Mr. Miller?
Yes, so I also included in your packet that you see here some exciting news. The property owners there have started the process of redeveloping the site. The redevelopment does include the demolition of the structures, actually 3 structures, what I refer to as Orin, which is really the Fokker building. The next building is like where Plato's used to be, or a hotel, I guess, was there. And then the next was the La Parisienne Movie Theater, which is referred to as the Mazzoni building now. So approximately about 20,000 square feet of commercial space is there. And they're proposing they're requested actually at the Planning Commission, a request to rezone this corner from Central Business District to planned development for the construction of a 4-story, about 19,400 square foot of commercial space and up to 60 units of apartments at that location. The Planning Commission did recommend to the City Council this approval for that. So they'll be at the City Council for kind of final approval on June 23rd, and then they'll kind of start the site plan process. But it's a building that they were trying to look at preserving a portion of the building, but the older building can't handle a structure like this on top of it. They didn't, they had proposed some ideas to kind of save it. It's not a historic structure. We refer to it as an iconic structure because it's been there since the 20s. But it is not a historic structure. They do have the right to do so. It could anger some people in the community. But we try to save the clock, as you see on the corner, and also kind of use the same form of the building. That's called a clipped corner, the design that's there. So it's kind of the 2 corners, then that angle there, to keep kind of the same, pay homage to the building that was there, and utilize kind of that same form. The red brick kind of design, and also each of the units would have their own outdoor space, and then also there's some outdoor space, like a little mini pocket park or outdoor gathering space for the people that are there. And then they're, of course, going to look at trying to lease out the bottom space, too.
Does the DDA have any say with design?
Well, we really don't, because it will be worked into the planned development district. And so the motion actually from the Planning Commission was very specific about the design, that it maintains our downtown character designs that are in the ordinance. And so,
And color theme as well, since we have, the structures on the north side of Ford Road, just west of Middlebelt. Is it going to, this just looks bright, and I don't know if it's the photo or if it's going to fall in line with the same brick as we have right across the street from it virtually.
it is a red brick design in the request for that, and so that is a historic brick that we do use and recommend if people are going to use brick. So we were looking at also kind of the top, that cornice across the top, the crown, would not be of brick material. You can't utilize that. The architect was, I think, just putting that in there, but it would have to be a separate color, and we did talk about that also. We also did make a recommendation that the facade that you see here is the same facade that you'll see on the back. So there won't be a cheapening of the requirements on the back either.
It'd be nice to have that limestone carry in the center going up,
Okay.
maybe along some pillars, instead of brick, having that pillar look
Give it that rich
all the
look.
way up.
Yeah. I can make that recommendation to the developers, and,
But I know the gentleman that's doing this, they're very good at doing design, and they're very creative, so I'm excited to see this happen.
I mean, it hopefully is going to be a catalyst for more things to come downtown. I mean, 60 more units is a lot.
A lot.
And of course, then there'll be, of course, more people going to every business around there. We did talk a lot about parking. Initially, they had really a limited amount of parking on the site. I think it was, I forget the numbers, what was it? 90?
75-ish or 124, something
yeah.
like that.
So we
Where
had a
are
lot
they
of
going to get the
discussion.
parking from?
The parking, they conveniently own over an acre on the other side of Pardo.
Is that what's labeled as Phase 2
Phase
on
2,
here?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So on the next page, thank you, is what is labeled as Phase 2. So you'll see, yeah, the site plan, sorry, thank you, Trustee Taylor, that, to flip the page, I guess, and you'll see that Phase 2. And so the recommendation is contingent upon, they have to now rezone that to central business, or to plan development to connect it with this and construct 70 more vehicle parking
So
on
it
that
can't have
side.
another structure on this, it can only be parking?
Well, no, and that was the, what I didn't want. I don't want it to all be parking. I think it's, and so the plan development will be, of course, to have Phase 2 will include some residential, probably facing the John Hawk side. So, so the Pardo would continue to have parking there, but still have some room for some additional housing units over there. I don't think they'll be the same. I kind of think they'd be, a townhouse style, or, 4 units, 6 units, maybe up to 8 on that south part of Phase 2. So the parking spaces, I think you'll be able to really, in the top third, accommodate the additional 70 that was required from the Planning Commission there. But that, again, there was a lot of discussion
Then if you're
about
getting
that.
residential here, so they'd have their own parking garage, and
I would, yeah, I kind of, in my, if I was a designer, I'm not a designer, but I would, of course, I would probably come off John Hawk with a driveway, and then kind of the back and then park behind or under the
then
structures
they
or
would need a
something.
backyard.
Yeah, they would have a little backyard too.
They would still have enough 70 parking spots in
What
there?
could be a townhouse?
Yes, yes. Mhm. Well, if you look at the parking lot to the left was, that you see there, was about 25 spaces. And this is a wider space, so they thought they could do kind of 3 bays of parking and get the 70 there. And that's 65, about 100, 65, 20, 20, 105.
It'd be nice to
of
take
space.
that insurance agency and,
Yeah, I know. And of course, this could inspire them to add on, inspire them to improve, or inspire them to sell. I don't know exactly, but
Yeah, give me those numbers again. There's going to be 60 units on the corner, and parking for how many with that?
they've requested at the Planning Commission 167 parking spaces.
For 60.
but what about for
Okay, and-
the
The commercial.
commercial?
It's about that about.
So we did a calculation for that also. The additional 70 covers the commercial and the residential. So it's really not a parking variance at all, really, so.
Well, okay, and on John Hawk, there's going to be, how many units and how much parking?
Well, it will front Pardo of 70 vehicles there, south of Pardo,
South of Pardo.
in the development, so. So it could leave maybe half that lot to get a few more, and John Hawk, as you go on the other side, those are single-family houses there too. So kind of, a denser residential, less dense residential, single-family, I think it would be a good step down by
And
John Hawk.
why wasn't there an opportunity for like a business to be there, like a drive-through or something like that? Is that not sectioned for that?
On the corner?
Yeah,
where
instead of this.
Instead of this, it was not, drive-throughs are not permitted in the central business district.
I see.
Yeah, so. The last one was McDonald's.
Okay.
Most of this goes through the planning commission, and then it'll come to council. This is kind of more just informational for
Right.
DDA.
Correct, yeah, but
Unless we
I
have
wanted to
some real
share- I wanted to share it
objections,
with you.
but
Yeah.
it's mostly through the planning commission.
Right,
It'll-
right, right. No, it's just kind of food for thought. like,
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, because they wanted to do something else that we kind of,
Gas station?
Yeah. But it
That we,
wouldn't be
kinda-
permitted in the zone.
didn't allow.
So, but again, I want to bring it to your attention because you'll start to get questions if you're there. Also, you go by it every day, all of you do, and so you'll see what's going to start to
This is
happen.
beautiful. There'll be an
And
icon.
I hope that it is some inspiration to the owners at Kmart, at the former Kmart property to see what could happen on the Beechwood side. Beechwood has a big footprint on the Beechwood side that across the street is single-family residential. So I hope that we can, of course, look at this and see that it's going to be a positive. They've got some challenges ahead of them, though. They've got the demolition. Also, unfortunately, the way it was platted here and the way the utilities were laid out, there's utilities that run directly behind the building. So the overhead wires, moving those. There's also water and sewer are there. So there's some challenges to
The
meet.
water detention system, would they have to do something?
They would have to do underground to utilize the space, the underground water
They have Ford
detention,
Road, most likely they're gonna end up using Ford Road.
which is MDOT.
That's what I did with the Garden City Station.
So I just wanted it out there just so you could see what's going on.
I like it.
It's quite a significant investment.
And a good improvement.
It is. There still was some talk, of property tax credits, and I talked to the board about them too. I don't know what they're proposing, but it may come to that and for assistance, not real money assistance, but long-term assistance with property tax credits to help with the demolition and site preparation of the site. So.
How does that work for property tax credit? What does that mean?
Well, for this, it would have to actually be considered a brownfield, is the only one that would apply in this case. In the brownfield, it would be an obsolete structure brownfield, not contamination or anything like that, but the obsolete property portion of that. So an agreement would be made between actually the DDA and the city with this group of a repayment via non-payment of taxes, so a reduction of the long-term tax that would go back to the property. So we would collect it, but in turn return a portion of what is collected. So no numbers have been mentioned, nothing, but there is, I think in 2023, a new law was passed that permits residential to be a component of the brownfield redevelopment property tax credit. So throughout the state, it's becoming a little more known. It's a new law, And so it's been kind of tested around the state, and I think when it comes time, of course, if it comes time, they've just mentioned it.
And to add to that, I believe also if they make part of it Section 8, they also get money from the state funding.
Well,
They do 20% of it.
correct. I don't know if that would be a property tax credit issue to the city. I don't know if we would grant it if that's the case.
So,
We
but
really
also
want to see
the city need to
market
know
rate.
that ahead of
Yes,
time if they're
correct.
planning on doing that.
We would want, I would assume, I don't make the decision, but I would assume that we would want either market rate or what they call 120% of AMI, the area median income, and you can make up to 120% of that to be considered the workforce housing is what this is called. So, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, you're kind of in the know, so that you do know, and to share the information that's coming. It's significant, but as you look at this kind of a development, we do look at how it will fit and exactly what the kind of the overall benefit to, of course, the district and the city are. We're trying to always increase our residential footprint because, you know, we can't grow out, we've got to grow in. That's really basically what we have to do. So, do you have any other questions regarding that? No? Okay.
Thanks for that, Matt. All right, so then I guess we move to the 2025 Hometown Heroes banners.
Yes, so we have all 40 were given out, and they were printed, actually as of this morning, they're all printed. So now they're sewing the banner arm sleeves for all of those, and we're hoping to get them up, if not before Memorial Day, soon thereafter. But we did get 40 applicants, and actually I started a waiting list, even though it's not been funded for 2026, but I did start a waiting list already of people that want to participate in that event. It was well received, and it does cost a little bit of money, but it's really, I think, a nice thing to do and bring some interest to downtown, along with our flowers that are there and all the maintenance that we pay for and have downtown. So
One of the things the veterans really appreciate it, and just the residents, when I go to conferences, and run into officials from other cities, they compliment us on the banners and actually our whole downtown with the flowers and Christmas, so there's a lot of notoriety and appreciation for that stuff.
well, good. So it does take a lot of coordination. So you think doesn't, it does. I actually have minimized it before, but boy, you have to chase down 40 images, make sure they're clear images. I have to scan them, clean them up a little. Our communications department had help. Some of the resolution is they're old pictures, and so it's hard. But we want to present the best image we can have, and so we work on that and make sure they look good. The design changed a little. We have like a Garden City at the top and still a flag. It looks quite nice. So.
Okay, thank you. The next item is Lucky Squirrel.
Saturday, we hosted our first event of 3 this year, and it went pretty well. Weather wasn't the best. It was very windy, extremely windy. We lost some tents, actually, so, but I took down ours, though, before it just was so windy. But it still was, we had some rain, but still a lot of people came. We had about 200 people register for the bag and get their free shopping bag. So I still have a couple hundred more to go. So I'll still continue to push that. We'll use that as a marketing campaign to finish off the July and September. We had 165 vendors come to the event, and it was quite good. So just an update on that. And
what was the date of the next one?
it is July 19th and then September 20th.
Thank you. And then the chili cook-off.
Yes, September 27th is the chili cook-off, and kind of myself, the mayor, and then John Prosh and Zach King are working on getting everything put together. We have the kind of the media packet, the cook-off teams, the sponsorships. We're out always looking for any sponsorships that we can get to help with the event. Also, of course, with the sponsorship, your name goes out there, and there's advertising that is done also. So we're working on getting that. We've established at least one band and for the
We're
the after
probably
party.
at
We have
two bands out of the 4,
All right.
so we're,
He's our music coordinator.
well, not, but we're always
He's
looking
turning
for,
into that.
I believe he coordinates everything, doesn't he?
Yes. So thank you for getting that. Because I don't know bands or any connections there. But once, of course, we have one, they often know somebody that comes and does that to create a good community event. We're changing the layout a little bit. We're going to use Central Street behind as a touch-a-truck event on Central. And so we'll use that, kind of keep everyone on one site. We're also going to have a, what is that called? Cornhole, thank you, cornhole tournament.
cornhole tournament.
And they're going to do it's like a sanctioned one, and this is a big deal, I guess, in the world of cornhole. And so, but it gets more people to come, and then, of course, the car show and motorcycle show will be there. And of course, last year, it was an extremely well-attended event. A lot of people came to the city and downtown, and we're hoping to build on that and have another successful event. So we're working on that. The budget was approved at the last meeting we had here, and we're working away on that. So that's September 27th. So
trying to get more kids' stuff involved also, more
Yes.
than last year, so. Make it more family orientated.
yes. So we're kind of calling it the Chili Cook-Off Community Event. We called it that last year, and it's really an event for our community.
Okay, and the last item for other business is seal coat and striping the northeast parking lot.
So we are working on getting the bids out for the seal coat and striping of the northeast parking lot. That is kind of where this Lucky Squirrel is. And we're going to have it striped for vehicles, and then also the spaces for the squirrel. Also, if you go over there, you see there's little spaces where they put the tents, and we sell $25 every 10 feet for a space, so we do that.
What did you say the cost was for that?
$25 for Lucky Squirrel for each 10-foot space. So we're going to get that done. We can't get it started till after July 1st. That's when the board approved the funding for it. But in June, I'm hoping that we'll have bids before you so that we can approve a bid to have the work done. So I hope it doesn't come in a lot of money. So we'll see how it goes. And then part of kind of some other things I'm working on over there is the alleyway, to work on the alleyway too. And then just aside from kind of a off topic a little bit, talking about parking lots, I'm trying to put together on the northwest parking lot, the Kmart parking lot area, a group of the people that are all involved over there. There's numerous property owners, and we need to start to have some serious talks with all of them. The city, the DDA, really is responsible for 3 of those lots over there. But it's a hodgepodge is all I can come up with. And you know that too, Dr. Harry. So, but parking is fun.
Oh, it's back again.
Yeah,
Just, it tears up.
it tears up,
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, so Matt, do you have anything else since we have no public with us, we have no public comments, do you have anything else for director report, or did you cover it all?
I do have, I just wanted to, I put it at your places that, speaking of the Kmart parking lot, Empire Realty on May 30th is having a grand opening and a ribbon cutting about 1 o'clock that day. If you can stop by, welcome them to our community. They are in the former Hershey shoes, and they completely renovated the entire structure, really, stem to stern. And it looks really nice, and we want to welcome there. Also, along that whole front, there are no vacancies there at this time. A new store opened, Garden Fresh,
Yes.
I don't know if you've been there or not, but it's a beautiful store, and they're going to have a grand opening too. But they have an online presence too, actually. So they actually had an online presence before I talked to the owners. They had an online presence and decided to do a storefront, and it's a great store. They also have a meat counter, and the owner is a butcher also. So please stop and, of course, support them, introduce yourself, and we're hoping to have a grand opening for them too. So,
Sure.
A lot of ribbon.
pardon?
We got a lot of ribbon.
We got a lot of ribbon, and of course, across the street at Rite Aid, they're working away also at Everfresh Market. So I got them confused for a while. But they're working away over there also to occupy that too. So we're glad for that. And I'm glad to see that no vacancies at that location is a big deal, since it's sat vacant for a long time. That includes in that site, I also, of course, the gymnastics, which is the former Napa, and the banquet facility. The dentist's office was sold to a new dentist. I've met her, and also they went through the C of O process and brought the building up to code too. So please, if you can put that on your calendar, just stop by and say hi. I know it's right across the parking lot for you, but others it's close to, so.
Okay, we will move to trustee board comments. Trustee Nazardine?
I want to congratulate you, looking forward to work with you, and that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Hyder?
Same, congratulations, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Trustee Walkonis?
Of course, congratulations. But I have a couple of comments. One, I'd like to address a comment that I made yesterday at the city council meeting regarding the flowers that are in the downtown area. I want the citizens to know that I do know that it is bad optics when their water bills are going up and they see the city spending money. But that is coming from the DDA, which is a separate entity of the city. So it's not the city collecting your money and spending it on flowers, just to make that clear. And then the other thing I wanted to address was, Matt, you have been in the position of economic developer about a year now, and there was always concern about how your time would be split and how we would know, right? And so I wondered, since the DDA pays your salary and the city, of course, covers your benefits, have you worked on any type of report for us so that we know how you're splitting your time or how much is vested into the DDA?
I really haven't. I do keep a log every day almost of what I'm working on. I could put that together, or I don't know what you would like. You pay a portion,
Right.
$70,000 a portion of
Right.
my salary, and
The
the
salary
city covers the rest.
The
Yep.
benefits, correct, yes. But I think.
What would you like? I guess I don't know what.
Well,
you're looking
I
for.
think because of the legalities of it, we have to have something, right? So,
Well, you have an agreement with the city and between the DDA and the city to provide the service.
Hourly,
Right.
it's tough because we've never, the director, whether it was the DDA director or now the community development director, we've never had a set hours. So he may work a couple hours at night, he may do some stuff during the day, and he's typically all around the city, plus in the office doing it. So I'm also with Mr. Miller there on
I agree with you.
how you would
not the
break
way
it
our attorney,
down.
the
But
DDA
question- no,
attorney.
but the question I'm trying to find out is that, what's your concern? Is that, are we overpaying him, or is he spending more time for the city and then he's getting most of his paycheck from us? Or is it that you don't know how much time is he really spending that much time to get paid for?
well, see,
Which question?
there's some legality to this, so that's why we have a separate attorney. The DDA has a separate attorney from the city.
Yeah, but the question asking him about the time spent, what's the purpose
Well,
of it?
because in the past, the DDA director only worked for the DDA, was paid from the DDA, so that way everything was up front.
But are we able to pay
So-
for his benefits and his salary at the same time? The DDA? Since we're splitting the benefits and the salary
Well-
into different departments?
Unfortunately, you weren't here before, when all of this transpired and how this
but I'm
came to
here
be.
right now, so I'd like to
I
know
understand,
what your
but I mean, it's a
question is, what's
long
behind it.
explanation. It's not as simple as, we wanted a DDA director.
Okay.
And instead of drudging all this up, which is really going to spin some tails and maybe get some people angry, That's what I was trying, I'm trying not to go there. The thing is though, and I think Dr. Hyder was here at the time.
But I don't think we need to step this back
I
up
don't think
again.
so, to be honest with you.
Well, Matt, why don't,
Matt is
would you
doing a
check
great-
with
Matt
our
is doing a great
DDA
job.
attorney?
I
Oh,
think
no,
it's-
no, I'm not saying he's not doing a great job. Please don't misunderstand me. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying he's doing, he isn't doing an excellent job.
No, I'm
No,
just
no,
trying
I'm
to
not
find
saying
out
that
what's
at
the
all,
narrative,
and I
what's the
love
main
Matt.
purpose of asking that question? Is it that we're overpaying him? Is he spending more time working for the other department, but we're paying his paycheck? Or is it that he's not working? What's the purpose? I mean,
It's for
I wanna
legal
be clear about it.
ramifications.
Okay.
And so therefore, I think that, Matt, maybe you could get that clarified too with our DDA attorney, correct?
I could.
Yeah,
you
that would
want
be
a-
wonderful, thank you.
But what am I
That
going to
would
clarify?
be, that would be an expense that
Yeah.
I think
I don't think it's worth it.
the board would have to vote on if we want to spend the money to
Unless,
get it.
let's be very transparent, unless there's a question mark about his ethics at work, then we'll look at it that way. If there's no question about ethics, then why should we go spend money somewhere else when we're trying to save every penny?
Right now, I don't
I mean,
think,
let's be very honest, if there's, if there's an ethical question about it, let's be
I'm just glad this is all.
right there.
You're glad it's what?
I'm just glad it's out in the open, that's all.
Well, you cover approximately 65% of my rate of pay, and so that's about 24 to 26 hours a week that I would work for the DDA. And I feel I do that even more. I worked on Saturday 10 hours just for the DDA, automatically, for an example, and then preparing the packet, all of that, coordinating with Gary Carter, the banners, all of that. So if there's a concern, I do work diligently on behalf of the DDA all the time, so.
Is
just so you
that
know.
something that has happened in the past, that the DDA has been the DDA director has been responsible for reporting what they do?
No, because the DDA director did not also work for the city.
Okay,
Only
so you're
for the
talking about the
DDA.
new
So, there was concern, and of course, we fired that attorney and got a new one, but there was concern about, because of how we're regulated through the state, that the legality of paying for someone that is not just working for us, but is sitting at City Hall and working for the city as well. So that's the issue. It's not about, do you not trust Matt? No, of course I do. Do I think he's ethical? Of course I do. I'm just saying, I think that we should have a yearly report, because I think that we need it, right, just to cover.
I gave the yearly report, right before Christmas, and I plan to do so, a spring one and a Christmas one, a yearly report to the DDA. If you'd like another one next month, I could prepare that.
Thank you, Matt. Can you just check, well, never mind. That's good, thank you.
I would think yearly, if yearly is what is fine, yearly should be fine. I don't,
If that's what's been done in the past, and if it's always worked and not been questioned.
well, it's new coming in now because DDA was always separate.
Correct.
But we never got a report of how many hours the DDA director worked. DDA never got a report that said, from the director that said, I work X amount of hours. I work 40 hours a week, that's why I'm getting this salary. That was never presented to us. We assumed she was, or he was, whenever it was. We kind of go by, how is the DDA working right now? That whole lot's filled. Mr. Miller had a lot to do with a lot of that. He does the Lucky Squirrel. I believe you were at the Lucky Squirrel, so he spent hours there. So in the contract, it was if the DDA was unhappy with what he is doing with them, we can always pull out. I don't believe there's any legal issue as to providing us with hours of how many hours he's doing it, because it's never been done before.
So that wasn't part of a requirement in a
No.
contract or anything?
No. So it's more of, if the DDA board is unhappy with, he's not doing enough work in the DDA or for the DDA, we can address that. So I guess if that's your concern, then
No, not quite, but, I mean, that's okay.
So do we want to agree that what he provides once a year is enough for the,
Well, he just said he does it twice a year, so that, I think that that's
I do
probably
two,
sufficient.
one is to the council, one is to the DDA. So, but I could prepare like a mid-year one if you'd like, so it's up to you.
I don't need it, but, you know,
I think that-
if the board wants it,
I think the
I think
proof
it's
is
a
in the
matter of
pudding.
legality. I don't think it's
So,
about not proving that we doubt that you're working. It's not about we doubt you. I'm more concerned with, you know, just trying to keep things legal.
But you don't think yearly is enough?
But we have a
Probably, I mean-
contract, what's
We
more
have a
legal?
contract, so I think once a year is fine. He
is
just,
fine.
I misunderstood when he said that he did two. But that's why I said one.
I think
once
Two are
a year.
required, one is,
That's
but we
why I
usually
said
do
once
one
a
to the
year.
council and
Once a
then one
year
to
is
you.
Yeah, that's, I just said once a year. That's all I was
I
asking for.
think the question I would have is, he doesn't clock in or clock out, so if all he really has to say is, I put in 40 hours with DDA, and there's no clocking in, no clocking out, we'll never know. So legally, we're going off of his word.
Right, we are.
So, you know, I don't know where he's going to come in and say, no, I'm only working 10 hours a week, and here's my
Mark,
time
that's,
card
I
to
think you're
prove it.
spinning things here.
so, but let me just reiterate, though, what Mr. Miller said. The DDA pays 65% of your base pay, which equates to about 24 to 26 hours. So that's what you're legally obligated to work for the DDA, is the 24 to 26 hours per week. Okay.
Is he legally obligated to that? With it being 65% of your pay, are you technically legally obligated, or are you morally obligated?
Contractually.
I don't remember in the contract we did, you were, okay,
I
you
don't
must
think in the-
spend 65% of your time dedicated to the DDA and 35% of your time dedicated to the city.
The
That's not
contract
the
doesn't
contract,
specify
no.
Yeah,
hours.
so
The
I don't-
contract
I don't-
says that
I don't
the
think
city-
legally they could ever touch you. 'Cause in the contract, it doesn't say you have to spend 65%
No,
of your
that's not the
time
way
with
it's-
us.
But I still try to keep it
Yeah, of course.
even
Yeah.
and fair,
And it
which is what
shows.
I do, so.
It
But
definitely
yearly
shows.
is enough, I think.
Okay, are we done?
Okay, so we stop there. So Mr. Baydoun, comments?
Nope.
Mayor?
Nope, I'm good.
Jacobs? Nope, and I think I've all said all I'm going to say for today. So we have no closed session coming up that I'm aware of. So our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 17th.
I would like to say, yeah, please make sure you respond to Mr. Miller when he sends out the email that, so we have a quorum. I know summer gets a little iffy, that we have at least a quorum, so please respond to let him know that you'll be here or you won't be here, either way.
Sure.
Yes, and of course, thank you. That meeting is kind of our combined summer meeting, so we won't meet again until August. So June and July are together, kind of.
Any way we can change the June to July? I just
Yeah.
I throw that out there, but is it possible? Because I
correct, we
definitely
can.
won't be here.
Sure. I'm trying to look and see, but I think I had scheduled to be away for the July time.
So that would be July 15th, I believe, right? Because it's the third Tuesday?
I won't be here. I don't know if John can
Third
be here.
Tuesday is the July 15th date, right?
So
Oh, but Matt won't be here, so,
I do have a destination wedding I'm attending. I'm sorry. Okay. So
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
John is not here today.
Okay, so we'll stick with the June
Okay.
17th.
COVID
Okay.
session.
Anything else?
No.
We're adjourning at 7 o'clock.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.